Mayor, you ready for us?
Yes, good evening, everybody. Prior to my reports, I just would like to have a moment of silence for our two fallen colleagues, Councilperson Jack Sheehy and Councilperson Tom Boland. Thank you. A little bit about Tom Boland. I had the honor of serving with Tom Boland for a number of years on council. He was very committed to his job. He took a tremendous interest in our fire department, and I think he was very instrumental in moving the department in a positive direction, and I think he had a lasting effect on the department that we have right now. He was always supportive of anything that the fire department needed, and I think to this day, again, I think he's contributed tremendously to the success of that department. Jack Sheehy. I've known Jack Sheehy since I was about 6 years old. And as I've known the whole Sheehy family, they are a family who has been in town longer than the Armsteads. We've been here for a long time. So, but that whole family, Jack and his whole family, they would give you the shirts off their back. You could be broken down anywhere, and you get on that phone and you call the Sheehys and tell them that you needed a ride, that you need to get home, your car was broke down, and they would come and get you. They'd bring your tow truck and come and get you. And the beauty of it was, you could tell them in advance, listen, I don't have any money. And they would still come get you. And they would work out some sort of payment plan with you. And it was the same if you took one of your vehicles to have it repaired at their shop. They'd give you the shirts off their back. Jack and I both came up through the Pop Warner football program together, although he was a couple years older than me. At the high school level, got a chance to deal with Jack. I was a sophomore when he was a senior. So we've shared some very good times together, and he will be missed. Again, you don't have that type of giving that the Sheehys wants, that kind of giving in our community anymore, and we need to have a little bit more of that these days as a community. So again, they'll both be missed. All right, now with some more of my other reports, I'd like to thank Councilman Peter Brown and Kasha Kozak for doing an outstanding job. They had a wine and cheese tasting event at the Promenade a few weeks back. It was an outstanding event. I got nothing but compliments on what a great job they did. I saw people from all over the town here, and I think these are the type of activities that people in Linden are looking forward to. He was able to pull this event off at a nominal cost. My hat goes off to them, and I appreciate their efforts, and hopefully we can continue having events like this in the town. I'd like to thank the members of DPW for the help that they gave me this past Saturday. We had a Unity Day event. Started out with gospel music. And not many people attended that portion of it. We're going to work on that. But the latter part of the program, we had a nice crowd. So I want to thank DPW for the cleanup effort. They did an outstanding job. And I'd like to thank the police department because the police department showed up and there was no trouble, but they just kind of passed through, just to make sure that things were okay. And we do appreciate them showing their faces. Because people need to know that the police don't always come when there's trouble. They come sometimes just to visit and let people know that they're part of this community as well. So we do appreciate your presence at that event. Now I'm going to announce just a few events that are coming up. Saturday, the 20th, there will be a gospel fest at the Promenade from 2 o'clock to 7 o'clock p.m. This is being sponsored by members of First Baptist Church, and all the churches from the Linden community will be attending. The day is in honor of a person by the name of Isadale Riley. We refer to her as Del Riley. She was an activist in our community. She gave of herself and gave of her time. I had the pleasure of working with her over at Weequahic High School for a couple of years, and you could really see the students in that school really gravitated to her because they know one thing about children. They know when you care, and believe me, that was a very much urban setting, and the time and attention that children need in some urban settings are a lot greater than sometimes that we have here in Linden. And those kids really took a liking to her, and they took a liking to her because, again, children know, kids know when you really care. It's something that, you know, they just sense it. So once again, that's in her honor for all that she's done, and her family were longtime supporters of mine in the 4th Ward. So she's missed but not forgotten. Also on the 20th, there's going to be some activities in the 4th Ward Park, Dr. King Park. There'll be face painting, games, basketball games, being sponsored by a young lady by the name of Janelle Henderson. So if any of you could make it to that, we would appreciate it. I sponsored a petting zoo, so bring your small children. It should be a good day for our small children as well as the older children. And it's still not too late. If any of the council members would like to contribute to that event, you can contact my office, and I'll make sure that any donations you have are directed to Janelle Henderson. She could use all the help that she can get to make her event successful. Also on the 20th, we have Applebee's will be hosting the 15th and final America's 911 ride. That's on the 20th at 2:30 p.m. And everyone's invited to join us in welcoming this dedicated organization and bidding them their final farewell. This will be the last year that we'll be doing this. It's always been a great event. Unfortunately, some of the other states have not been they've been restricting some of the access to the highways that are needed for this particular ride. So this will be the last year that we'll have this. However, we will never forget the first responders and their efforts on 9/11, that horrific day that we had in America here. So I want everyone to come out and let's really give this thing a good send-off because they've done an excellent job over the last 15 years, and Applebee's has been always supportive. So again, I think we should all come out. There'll be free burgers, free food, soda and water. Please come out to support this last year's effort. Moving right along, as Councilman Monty Brooks mentioned, he's going to be having a meet and greet at the 4th Ward, and as your prior 4th Ward councilman, I think I'll be there to do a little meeting and greeting also. 4th Ward is still very dear to my heart, so I'll be there as well. If you have any concerns that you want to bring to your mayor, 4th Ward residents, I'll be there. The 29th, we have our Backpack to School. And first of all, let me just say this. It is going to be like something we've never had before in this town. I don't want anybody to think, that I sit up in a think tank and come up with these ideas. I'm going to give credit where credit is due. We had Pastor Pam Jones had suggested that we collaborate. We saw that we were having several events all over the town, and she said, we need to try to collaborate. And then in talking to Chief Dooley, he reiterated that point and said, we're utilizing a lot of our resources at a number of different events. We have to have the fire department, police department, DPW, public property, going to 9 different events. So what we decided to do was to reach out to all those who were involved in giving out school supplies every year and try to put it in one location. So we're going to have it at the Promenade this year. And we've got over 800 backpacks that we're going to be giving out. And I think as we mentioned earlier, these are not just shabby backpacks. These are some very nice backpacks. We've had donations from a number of people, and I want to thank all our council people who've donated. And Councilman Hickey's donated, Councilman Yamakaitis has donated, I believe Councilman Strano has donated, Councilperson Orman has donated, and if anybody else has donated, I'm not sure. I just want to say, oh, Councilman Medina's donated, okay. Councilman Brooks has donated also? Okay, listen, if you haven't donated, you still can. You can come right to my office, okay? And we'd like to get, maybe we'll get 1,000 backpacks out. But it's gonna be like nothing we've ever had here in Linden. And we're also gonna be giving out food to the children. So you can come get a backpack, and as a parent, you know, if your kids if they're tired of waiting online and they're hungry, they can go over and get something to eat. So it's gonna be a great day. Again, unlike anything we've had before in the city. So that's on the 29th, 5:30 to 8:30 at the Promenade. And the other thing I'd like to do is go right to the, congratulate our new police, well, not our new police officers, our new promoted police officers. I'd like to congratulate Acting Chief Jonathan Parham. I'd like to congratulate our new Captain Sake. I'd like to congratulate Lieutenant William Mack. And I'd like to congratulate Sergeant Monica Oliveria. And I'll say this, that not only that you're the outgoing chief, your new acting chief, and myself, we all agreed that every one of these promotions was deserving. You know, sometimes you have tough decisions when you have to make promotions in your police department. But, you know, we've observed all of your performances, and I'll tell you, you deserve to be promoted where you're at. And I'm confident that you're all going to do a great job, you know. So looking forward to the new, I guess you can call it a new era in our police department. But that being said, I want to also thank Chief Schulhafer for his 30 years of service. It's not easy being a chief. It's not easy being in charge of over 100 men, and especially in a city like Linden. Linden is it's a very interesting town. It's got crime just like any other city, and your work is really cut out. I mean, I look at the reports every morning, and there's some things going on in Linden that are happening in very large cities. But we do have a good department, and I think we're putting a cap on crime, and I think we're moving in the right direction. So once again, congratulations to all of you. Congratulations to Chief Schulhafer, and I wish him well in his retirement. I'm sure I'll see him in ShopRite. He's not leaving town, so I'll see him shopping in town somewhere. We always run into him. So now we're going to go into some of the developments that we have in town. We've got some, what I think is some very good news. I think we have an opportunity has presented itself. For some time now, we've been looking at our landfill and with the prospect of putting solar panels on it. Well, at our last landfill meeting, the idea of selling the electricity to a company that's located right next to the landfill was suggested. It's a very good idea, and if we ever get those solar panels off on the landfill, we have at least a company who's willing to buy the electric. We could receive a premium for the panels versus selling it back to the grid. And also, at the same time, the company who's a cosmetic producer, Fabilia, will have a tremendous savings from purchasing electric from us as versus the PSE&G or the grid. So that's actually good news. Last month we mentioned St. George Avenue, that we had a potential developer for St. George Avenue. Well, I'm happy to announce that we not only have a potential developer, we do have a developer for St. George Avenue. And we have to sit down as a governing body and figure out how we're going to proceed forward with the development of St. George Avenue. They came to our council meeting last night. They made a presentation to the governing body, and I think that most of the governing body is very happy with the proposed development. So at last, we'll see something on St. George Avenue. On Stiles Street, the Cantor property, which has been an eyesore and a tremendous source of problems for the residents in that particular location. Ed Cantor went in front of our board last month and received approvals to have a new state-of-the-art warehouse built there. The warehouse, of course, he went for approvals because he's selling his property, and the new owners are a high-end warehousing outfit that will be dealing with some of the high-end stores. So you won't see the type of rundown and raggedy conditions that we were accustomed to there. And in addition, we've addressed some of the issues with the vehicles that are leaving US 1 and 9. As you all know, it's very difficult coming off of 1 and 9 and turning into that property. So we've addressed all those concerns as well. Last month, we also had a developer come in front of the planning board for the JTG scaffolding project. We're looking to see that project move forward. We're hoping to have a shovel in the ground within the next couple of months. And last but not least, for some time, we've had a property in Linden on West Elizabeth Avenue. It's referred to as United Lacquer property. This property is contaminated and has been an eyesore for years. It costs somewhere around $2 million to clean this property. And I think what has happened now is developers are starting to look at property, and if you had to purchase that property, it would cost you somewhere around $2 million. So what that means is that if we can enter some sort of arrangement where the developer would agree to clean it for the $2 million, we could move forward with developing that property. And I think that's exactly what has happened. We have two suitors, two very interested parties in developing the United Lacquer property. And they've both given me conceptual plans for what they'd like to do there. And I think with the help of this governing body, we could move this thing forward, and we can eliminate another eyesore in this city. So, Mr. President, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mayor, for your short statements.